As an auto journalist, I could tell you the best days on the job are those spent at the racetrack. But this day takes that to a whole new level. I'm at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, one of the fastest racetracks in North America, to test one of the fastest cars in the world, the McLaren MP4-12C. On an exotic car like this, there are three really important things, and first up are the stats. Powering the car is a 3.8-liter twin-turbo V8 engine, which is even more powerful for 2013. It makes 616 horsepower at 7,500 RPM and 443 foot-pounds of torque from just 3,000 RPM. Now that'll do 0 to 62 miles an hour, they are British of course, in just 3.1 seconds, and blast on to a quarter mile in just 10.8 seconds, with a ludicrous top speed of 207 miles per hour. Next up, it has to look spectacular, so check another box for the McLaren. Now, it might not be quite as dramatic as its Italian rivals, but McLaren is British after all, and really, they're more focused on true performance than crazy styling. And hey, it does have some flair. Check out those doors. In here, it looks truly exotic. There's a lot of great materials, Alcantara headliner, tons of carbon fiber down the dash, and a lot of unique buttons. It's very original, and you certainly won't think you're in any other car. There's also, I have to point out, this great, cool little iPhone style screen, and of course, beautiful features like the orange stitching throughout. But the real highlight of this car are the unique drive modes you can select. Now, they're located in two little buttons right here on the center console. Now, the knob to my right lets you control everything from shift times to throttle response, and it'll actually let you rev the car out a lot higher as you go from normal to sport to track mode. The one on the left also has normal, sport, and track, and that adjusts everything from the stability control settings, full off and track of course, as well as McLaren's very innovative suspension system on this car. It's a combination of hydraulics that actually adjusts the suspension. So if the car tips down on the front axle, it will actually send a lot of the hydraulic fluid to the rear of the car on the opposite side to help stabilize it. And it really is sort of the key to making this machine handle the way it does. Of course, there's only one real way to find out exactly how all that works, and that's by hitting the track right here with this 616 horsepower car. Because of course, the third most important thing in any true exotic car isn't just how fast it goes, but how much fun it is to drive. Driving this car on track is pure bliss, especially when you turn it up into sport and then eventually into track modes. It's not just a whole lot louder inside here. The car just absolutely livens up. Of course, stability control is a lot less intrusive, but it does a whole lot more than that too. This car is really made on its innovative hydraulic suspension. It adjusts all these features for you, so when the car starts tipping down in one corner, it evens out the other and just makes the whole experience very level. When you get into track mode, the car just becomes so well balanced that it's just much more nimble and responsive, and it's just an absolutely lively experience. You really get all the great inputs that you want. Another feature I really have to point out on this car is McLaren's very innovative air brake. Now, essentially it's that rear spoiler on the back, but it's a lot more than that. When you get on the brakes really hard from speed, what happens is it flips up in the back, and it actually allows a lot more downforce, especially helping to stabilize the speed in fast corners. And of course, when you turn into sport and then track mode, the sound inside the cabin becomes absolutely intoxicating. If there are any downsides to this British exotic, one of them is very obvious, and that's the price. The only other complaint I have is that while it does sound amazing inside the cabin, it really doesn't have that same exhaust note outside. And when you're driving down the street, the sound isn't going to draw eyeballs like a Ferrari does. Those small gripes, however, are significantly outweighed by the positives on this car. As I said earlier, there are 3 important things any true exotic needs to have. And the McLaren MP4-12C, well, it looks ridiculously fast. It's fast on paper, and trust me when I tell you, this thing is a rocket ship out on the racetrack. Plus, the McLaren MP4-12C has one extra special feature, and that's that it is extra special. It is not a Ferrari, it's not a Lamborghini, and when people see it, they'll know it's awesome, they'll know it's exotic, but they won't know what it is. And for those who can afford a sports car of this caliber, uniqueness has a value all its own. For more on this review and others like it, visit AutoGuide.com.